Hello, and this is the Midday Report. I'm Alex. We have no ramen with me today, but I'm going to be continuing my fourth episode of the Midday Report podcast. So, we got a few things to get to. So, I'm just going to start it off with NFL free agency. There's still no update on what the Titans have a plan on doing. Like I told you in the last podcast, pass rush, pass rush, pass rush. And hopefully we don't cut any guys that are too important to our team. And that's just all I got. We got no new information there. And the Predators, we're still moving at about a 500 pace. Less than that, but since the last time I talked, it's about a 500 pace. So, other than that, I got some lists for y'all. And I want to see, I'm going to be opening up the text line soon. Tell me if y'all agree, if you disagree, if you'd like to reorder it. I just got some top 5 and top 10 lists for y'all. Okay, so here we go. Right now, I have my top 10 quarterbacks from the 2020 NFL season. Now, a lot of these are purely based on statistics. Some of them are based on overall impact. And I'll just explain each one in depth as I go here. So, for my top 10 quarterbacks. Number 10, we got Justin Herbert. Oh, Herbert. He did good winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. Coming out of Oregon, he looks like he's going to be the key cornerstone of that Chargers team for years to come. And he did some great things despite the record, and he made history in the rookie performance that he did. And I'm just putting him at number 10 just because of what he's done so far. I think he's going to move up this list rapidly in the next 2 years. Mainly because he's a rookie and the other ones above have more to go off of. So at number 10, we got Justin Herbert. Now, at number 9, we have Matthew Stafford. Stafford. I love this quarterback to death. He's done so much. If you heard recently about his trade over to the Rams, going from Detroit to LA, gotta feel glad for him. He's gonna go to a team that he's got a lot of weapons around him that he can use to hopefully lead to a Super Bowl. His issue the past few years is he hasn't had a very good team around him. That Detroit organization, the Ford family hasn't done much for him to provide. This season he was hurt some. There was the COVID bug where he was in contact with someone with COVID, and the team had to take a road trip to Minnesota. He couldn't practice all week, so he went into the game with no practice all week, and it's crazy. I mean, he still put up a good performance. So, at number 9, I got Matthew Stafford. Now, at number 8, I got Cleveland Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield. Now, Baker corrected his sophomore slump. He had a good year this year. He brought Cleveland to its first winning record in, I think it was like 17 seasons, something like that. It's definitely their best year they've had since the return. And, this year was up and down for him, but he brought them to the playoffs and even won a game in Pittsburgh. And he was throwing up, even when he lost his best weapon, Beckham, for the year. He still made it do with Jarvis Landry and Rashard Higgins and Austin Hooper and just all these guys. He still made do. So, just for bringing Cleveland back to its first winning record in all those years, I give Baker number 8. Now, number 7, we got Kyler Murray. Now, this number 1 overall pick from over a year ago, over almost 2 years ago, he is just phenomenal. He did great things for me on my fantasy team this year. And, despite his shortness, he's got the what's the Greek god's names? He's got the arm of Zeus and the leg of Hermes, if that makes any sense. So, he did great. He was great. I love what he did for my fantasy team, and honestly, I think 8-8 I think he's overshadowed by that. I think that he will do good things this next year if Arizona has a good offseason. Okay, getting in at number 6, Josh Allen. He developed this year. Earlier in his career, he was just relying on his legs to get him out of every single situation. And, his he was said to have he was said to have a cannon arm, but major accuracy issues. So he corrected that this year. His accuracy got a lot better, and he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year, leading Buffalo to a 13-3 record. And with that improvement, they've developed him so much, and that's why he earns the number 6 spot. Okay, now we're getting into the top 5. Number 5, we got Deshaun Watson. Oh, Watson, you want out of this organization, don't you? I understand. I would too. You trade your best weapon away, you still put up the stats. They treat you worse. I. They still gave him no O line, and he still put everything up in spite of the weapons around him. His record does not define him this year. He still had some of the most passing yards. I think he did have the most passing yards in the league. And he did. Houston, a lot of his games were close. Thing is, Houston's defense was Swiss cheese, and he was overshadowed by his bad defense and his bad O line. And I still consider him a top 5 quarterback in this league. At number 4, we got Russell Wilson. Oh yeah, you knew this was coming up. Russell Wilson has been one of the best quarterbacks in this league for years now. He's always around. Seattle's had a winning record every season they've had him. And, he always does just enough in the regular season, but then come playoff time, he just doesn't have enough. That's why he's not higher, because, he has these stretches where he's really good, but then, he starts to go downhill. Like when Seattle played Buffalo this year, he got exposed by that defense. Badly exposed. And things just did not work out for him too well. So that's why he only lands at number 4. But, that game-winning drive against Minnesota that I kind of hated because I was rooting for the Vikings that game, it was crazy. 4th down conversions, 2 4th down conversions, getting down the field, he was clutch. And that lands him at number 4. Number 3, we got the GOAT, Tom Brady. Now, Brady winning his Super Bowl, he's free of the system QB curse. He won it with both New England and Tampa Bay. And, he was kind of on and off this year, but towards the end, he really got it together, and he got it together for the playoff run. And that was honestly the best time to get it together, because he got his 7th ring out of it. So, his accuracy was down last year, but this past year, it came back. And honestly, I did not think it would. So, Brady gets number 3 on my list, and only because these two other quarterbacks are crazy at the game. So, number 2, Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes has been one of the best quarterbacks in this league statistically for the past 3 years now. And he's consistent. Every team game plan, they have to game plan for him if they want any chance at winning. And they've done a good job. He's done a great job. He's been making the playoffs and winning playoff games every single year. And honestly, making 2 Super Bowls in a row is an accomplishment enough. So I give number 2 to Patty Mahomes. Now, number 1, I think you already know. He's been ruling the league forever now. Aaron Rodgers. I was thinking about putting Mahomes at the top, but after the year that Rodgers had, winning the MVP and just everything that he did this year, he was phenomenal. I remember when we watched the Titans play him on a Sunday night game, and he knew everything. He knew there was a trick he was doing, I'm trying to remember, where he hustles everyone to the line and tries to get the other team a flag, but even the refs couldn't keep up. He's smart enough to know everything that's going on around him, and he was crazy good with it. So, you know what? Aaron Rodgers was the best quarterback from this year, and he earns number one on my top 10 quarterbacks list. Now, next, I got my top five wide receivers. Now, this was very hard to narrow down, and I know all of y'all are going to have different opinions than me on this. So, I'm just going to get down to it. So, at number five, I have the phenomenal rookie Justin Jefferson. Oh, this guy is going to be great in this league for years to come. The gritty, that game he went off against the Titans, and he put up the most yards of any rookie in NFL history, breaking Randy Moss's record, and just everything that he's done. I know he's going to be great in this league, and yeah. So number four, this one's very controversial, but hear me out. Number four, I got Julio Jones. Now hear me out. Hear me out. Look, I know he only played a few games this year, but I know he was injured a lot, but think about it. He only played, I think it was maybe four, maybe 5 games this year, and he still put up 700 yards. Okay, I think in the Green Bay game he tried to come back, but he couldn't do it. So he still put up all those yards, and he only played that many games. He's still got a lot left in the tank, and I know when he comes back next year, he's gonna be back to the same old Julio. He goes about his work. He just goes about his work. He's not a diva like some of these other receivers. So yeah, Julio Jones, controversial, but he is at my number four. Now number three, Stephon Diggs. I love Diggs so much. He makes the game so much fun. He really racked it up for me in my fantasy league. He single-handedly won it for me in the very last game. So he was very consistent this season, and he put up the best year of his career with Josh Allen, and he was the cornerstone of that offense. He kept every team had the game plan for him, and he was consistent. And I know he's got more in store for us in these next few years. Now, number two, I could easily swap number one and two because it's that close. But number two, I have Devontae Adams. Now, him and Rodgers are the craziest, probably one of the craziest duos in this league. With just going, with all the yards they put up, he does this little move that just shakes anyone off of him. He had like a touchdown streak going this year. And just enough to be said. We all know who it is. Number one, you know who it is. DeAndre Hopkins. He's been number one on my list for years now. For one reason. He can do it with any quarterback. Give it all the quarterbacks Houston has had between Keenum, Fitzpatrick, Tom Savage, Brock Osweiler, and now Watson was good for him. Now he's with Kyler. He consistently does it with all these quarterbacks, good or bad. And, any team knows they have to double team him anytime they play him. Like, if he's one-on-one down the field, they're going to give a 50-50 shot with him, and he's more than likely going to come down with it. So, number one on my list is DeAndre Hopkins. Now, I wanted to give you all a little update on Taylor Lewan. He is starting up his Bussin' with the Boys podcast again. His ACL recovery has been a success. He's still getting physical therapy here and there, but he's been walking around again. And his recovery was great, and he's going to be back at full strength next year, which is phenomenal. So I just want to give y'all a little update on Taylor Lewan, and it's crazy with his journey because he had never had an injury like that before, and just coming back up from it is a crazy journey, and he was very good coming back up for it. So those are my lists. And I can't believe I got through a whole episode just talking to myself here. So, yeah. So, feel free. The text line will be opening up again soon. So, feel free to debate me on any of these. I always answer the line. And just text my number. It's on our website. Or you can message me on Instagram. So, yeah. This has been the Midday Report. Solo today. I am Alex Shearer. And yeah, thank you for devoting your time to listen to me. Thank you.